Hello, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
We skipped the intro today because LinkedIn wouldn't let us on. So, thank you so much for bearing with us with that. We are on our third episode
That's right.
of BOB Shop Black Podcast. I am your hostess, LaShawn, aka The Boisterous.
And I'm Deuce here.
So we have some amazing guests today, and of course, for those of you who are tuning in, you've probably already seen the advertisements. Um, they are BOB Rewards Club members and sponsors, and also administrators. We have Coach Anthony Bartley and also Anthony Arrington, and we'll get into what these gentlemen are doing amazing things for the BOB Rewards.
Big
and
community
also
advocates, right?
yes, and they also have great career resumes, so we can't wait to get to that. So we look forward to talking to our guests. So BOB,
I'm about to say, let's talk BOB.
yeah. So just, what we're here for is to advocate and educate on what BOB Rewards Club is.
Right.
And it is a Black owned business rewards club. It's a network, it's events, it's everything that you can possibly think of that is there to help enhance and help Black businesses succeed and thrive within our own network and also without. So the president is Michelle Gibson. Vice president is Jasmine Gant. We had them on our first episode and they told us all about it. But to recap everything, it was founded in Minnesota. And this is one of the cities that are one of the most economically impoverished cities. And, Black people are disadvantaged in this city among so many others in the United States. Mm-hmm. So let's just let's share the screen and just go over some things that the BOB Rewards Club is about. And go to share screen so you guys can see what BOB Rewards Club is all about.
All right.
And so, as you can see, you can join the movement at any time that you want. It's for comprehensive business development. I'm tongue tied today.
Comprehensive business development solutions.
So, for a consumer, you can join at $10, mm-hmm. and for a business, you can join at $25 per year. You create your membership, you log in. And I believe you still get, if you're a business member, I believe you still get your membership card. I still have mine.
So what's the benefits of being a member and joining the club?
So you get discounts to all of the businesses that are listed. You get, of course, first notifications of events that go on all across the nation. Right. As you guys can see, what we'll be talking about in just a second is the MLK event coming up in Iowa. All the other events that I've known so far have been in Minnesota, but as BOB is growing, you'll see more events in more states, including coming up in the next couple of months, hopefully in Charlotte. So right. Yeah. So as you can see, events, programs, and services, training courses, a BOB marketplace is coming soon. So as a consumer, if you have a business or something that you sell, they are strategically setting up, or we are strategically setting up a marketplace where the business owners can sell from a BOB website. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, you can donate. That's a tax write-off. You'll become a part of the directory. As a consumer, you will have access to the member portal. And you'll be first to be notified of vendor opportunities. And let me tell you, the events that Michelle has put on so far have all been phenomenal, and you do not want to miss these. So if you get a chance, please make sure you attend one of these events.
So the event coming up in January is MLK Now 2024.
Yes, and we want to talk about the sponsors and contributors of this event.
particularly people in Iowa, something that you don't want to miss out on. It occurs on January 13th at 10 a.m. It's an all-day event, and it is free. Not to mention, it is free.
That's right, free to the public and lots of activities for the children. So investor sponsors, thanks to Alliant Energy,
hmm
the Gazette, Kim and Go. Oh, Come and Go. Cedar Rapids Bank and Trust.
We have High V, Transamerica, a few more. Bear with us just a second. We also have I'm On Communications and Mike and Leslie Sandberg. There are investors in the event. You have Becker Quality Solutions and the list of other investors in the event as well. So, like I said, the event is free. If you are a Black entrepreneur or business owner in the Iowa area, this is a big network event, and also have a couple of keynote speakers. Well, a lot of keynote speakers. If you go to the MLK Now website, you can see a list of speakers that will be there for that day.
Also, there's a few that weren't on that list. We have Kirkwood Community College, Dr. Andrews, Cole College, True North, Cedar Rapids City of Seasons. We have the Ree Center, Green State Credit Union, Veridan Credit Union, the Kraus Group, of course, the River Kings, and Community Foundation. I think we got them all. I think that's all of them. So yes, be sure to partake in the event that is coming up.
And some of the topics that's going to be on that particular event, of course, prison reform and increasing business development. It's a list of other topics that's going to be discussed. But like I said, just go to the website, check it out. Like I said, definitely if you're in the area, there's something that you don't want to miss out on.
Absolutely. So that basically sums up, what BOB Rewards is about, the latest event coming up. So if you want to be notified of the events, make sure you go to bobrewards.club. Let me make sure I get that ticker showing up under there so that you guys can get that going and take note of that. And of course, if you want more information about the MLK Now, you can go to mlknow2024.com.
And if you are interested in joining BOB Rewards Club, you can contact us or Miss Michelle Gibson.
And as far as the podcast goes, we are streaming on about 8 different social media outlets. A lot of people will see this while it's streaming. A lot of people will see it after the fact. And we do have
when you do see it, make sure you click share.
Yes, and for those of you who are watching now, message us in the comments and tell us what city and state you are watching from.
Right, where are you checking in from?
Yes, but I just wanted to make sure you know that we have advertising slots for the BOB Shop Black show as well. So if you want to showcase your product or service, you can definitely do that. You could tap in with Michelle. We would prefer that you be a consumer or a member of BOB, but I don't think that's absolutely necessary.
Right, and let's not forget as well, with MLK Now 2024, there are vendor slots available.
Yes, and I think the time is kind of ticking on that. We just missed the cutoff for the souvenir
Sponsors.
book.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Get an advertisement in the souvenir book for the event. That was yesterday. It shouldn't be deadline, not as of yet, but as well, just get in contact with us and we can find out for you. If you are interested, if you have a food truck, if you want to do a pop-up booth or anything like that, just get in contact with us. We'll give you more information on that soon.
Yes, and without further delay, we have 2 very special guests that we are going to bring on. And that's Coach Anthony Bartley and Anthony Arrington.
Good morning, fellas. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hopefully too long.
So, guys, this is pretty spectacular. You guys have great resumes. You are doing a lot in the community. And Mr. Bartley, I know you don't know me personally, but I learned about you through Malik Selby,
Mhm.
and that's how I was able to put you all together with the BOB reward. So I'm so glad that that worked out to this magnitude. So awesome for
Yeah.
making that connection. I love that. So guys, I mean, I could read off your profile, but I would rather for you both to kind of tell us about yourself, things you want to highlight, and then we'll kind of go from there. So whoever wants to start first.
Anthony, I'll let you start first.
Ah, when we was growing up, my name Anthony. I was always in the front of the row. I'm sure you were too, Coach.
Exactly.
Appreciate it, Deuce and LaShawn. My name's Anthony Harrington, managing partner of Top Rank. Uh, I've been in business with my company for a little over 5 years. We started this company as a traditional recruiting firm. We felt that there was no space in the recruiting business for people of color as business owners who are actually doing this work and putting people that look like us to work. I was working for another staffing agency at the time, and a lot of my clients were in the manufacturing space. And I was also doing business development. And listen, I grew up Black in Iowa. I get it. I understand how it's being the only one in a state that's 90% white. But when I'm putting hundreds of people to work, and I go into these organizations and I continue to see people that look like me on the line making $10 an hour, standing next to somebody making $30 an hour, and I don't see any people like me really in leadership roles. That began to impact me personally in that role. So fast forward, I decided if I was going to continue to be a recruiter and be in that space, I needed to be on my own. My company, they was going to fire me. I was going to quit. Something was going to happen. So something had to change, and made the decision with some friends that a real good friend of mine, a middle-aged white man, that talked me into starting a search firm that was unapologetic about focusing on hiring underserved populations into leadership roles. And so I did that. We started this business a little over 5 years ago. Shifted from more of recruiting to more consulting and culture work, because it's easy for companies to say they can hire people that look like us, but that's just to check a number to say you met a metric. But what are you doing to develop your culture to keep people like us and to keep people with disabilities, or to keep people from the LGBTQ community, et cetera? So we do a lot more consulting and culture facilitation work through Top Rank. So been trying to keep my doors open as a small business owner, just like the rest of us coming to this MLK conference. And I connected with Michelle. Full disclosure, Michelle is a cousin of mine. We are actually family. And so Michelle, I've been a BOB Rewards member for a few years, and Michelle and I have been talking off and on about the work she's been doing. And I was really glad to see her bring this event to Cedar Rapids. We're excited.
Michelle is one of the hardest working women I know. I'm telling you, her work ethic is unmatched. So
Yeah.
she definitely works hard.
So she needs to sleep. There's only 24 hours in a day, but you're trying to figure out 28.
Yes, that's her for sure.
Fellas, I saw that you both are veterans. Is that correct?
No, sir. I'll let Coach Anthony tell a little bit about himself. I'm not a veteran, though.
Okay.
But two of my two business owners are veterans. Joy Briscoe, who will be on the panel at the MLK event as well. But Joy's one of our business owners. She's a 17-year Air Force veteran. My other business partner, 55-year-old Nick Ford, is a 21-year Navy veteran, a nuclear guy. So I let them two battle about who's the best, and I just sit back and thank them both for their service.
Got it. As veterans, I'm a veteran as well, so we always connect with other veterans.
Yeah, so you're gonna love Coach Bartley then, and I'll connect with Nick and Joy.
Thanks for your service. Yes.
Well, my name's Anthony Bartley. Like I said, I am a veteran of the United States Air Force. I come from a long line of military men. In fact, we've covered every branch of the military. When I tell people I feel like I'm Lieutenant Dan, from Forrest Gump, it's an actual fact, because, when I go back into my family's history, my great-grandfather was in the Army Air Corps. My grandfather was a Navy man. My dad was in the Marine Corps. Everybody says I was the smart one and went into the Air Force. My little brother, and my oldest son are both active duty Army. And now I have my youngest son who's in Marine Corps ROTC at Desert Pines High School here in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's actually going to enlist in the Army himself. So, the Bartley tradition, it continues on, so I'm kind of wondering if my grandson is going to continue that tradition as well. And he's only 5. So, when you're exposed to that military life, it doesn't go away.
Right.
Like I said, I am the owner of Bartley Enterprises. We are a private security firm here in Las Vegas. I am actually looking to expand my security firm in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and possibly take over the whole state of Iowa in general.
Oh wow,
My sole
that was
purpose
a lofty goals there. I did want to say, Coach, really quick, if you could give us, if you could move to your, I guess that's your right into where the light is, because all we have is like a silhouette of you right now.
Well, my house is lit up quite a bit. So I got windows and everywhere.
That's much better. We can see your face now.
Okay. So moving forward, I came into Cedar Rapids as co-owner of the Cedar Rapids River Kings professional arena football team. I've been doing arena football, this will be going on my 14th year.
Oh wow!
And I decided to take on a more substantial role. I've always been, in front office, whether most 98% of my career I've been a head coach. I spent a couple seasons as a in front office, for vice president of football operations, what have you. But this time I decided to take on an ownership role. Because there's not enough African American Black owners, in the professional sports industry, and let alone in arena football. I mean, we have some, but to this magnitude, I'm trying to make a change. So I'm going to lay a forefront down. I'm going to pretty much create an empire.
I love it. I love it. So when you say take over Iowa, can you tell us exactly what that means?
Everybody who knows me, they know that when I set my mind to doing something, I'm going to do it. Uh-huh. And my whole idea is to become the best private security firm wherever I lay roots down. So I'm started here in Vegas, and I'm looking to take over, and I'm going to take over the state of Iowa.
And I will give you a tip off. Do you know it's being said by a lot of people who are looking at things in the economy? Gary, Indiana is also going to be a prime place pretty soon as well. It's supposed to be the next economic boom. So you might want to do some research, because it's been said that state is really about to blow up.
It's new Atlanta.
Yeah, it's going to be the new Atlanta in a couple of years. So I don't know how true it is, but some sources that we trust have been saying that. So I want to check that out too.
Yeah, like I said, my whole purpose, a lot of people look at security, from the movie Friday, with Craig and Day Day, they look at them as flashlight cops, and it's just a negative connotation. But at the end of the day, what I want people to understand is that we are first responders. We need to be respected as first responders, because a lot of the properties that we're on, we're the first ones there at the scene. Mm-hmm. But unlike a lot of other companies that are out there, they just look to have a bunch of warm bodies just so they can make a quick buck. And my primary focus is, having fully qualified, fully trained individuals to be able to deal with any and all types of situations. I've been doing this for close to 30 years. I'm only 30, on paper I'm 50, but I'm really 30.
You better stop.
but looking at what I've gone through, having been in the military, having done, a little bit of law enforcement, my training is the reason why I'm still alive today. Mm-hmm. And my training is the reason why there are a lot of people who were in my vicinity, who are around me, that they are still alive today. And it's because of that is why I'm really enforcing this, and I got to a point where I got tired of basically working for the man and putting money in his pockets, and he don't give a care about the well-being of his employees.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it comes to a time where I felt like I need to reinvest back into not only myself but those who are around me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hey, Coach, I'm a private security officer myself. I work in retail, though. I work in the K9 division.
right, and see,
had
and even in the retail, because I've done that, loss prevention and what have you, and
Mhm.
you put yourself in a position where if you don't have the proper training, your life can be taken from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. My wife's been a realtor for 25 years, but she went to school for criminal justice, and go figure, right? I don't know how that worked out, but when she graduated, she did loss prevention, but she would tell me stories, about being at work, and there were known thieves in our community, but you also knew when they walked in the store what they were about to do.
Mm-hmm.
But there was this fear, because she was unarmed, and did you want to go down there and stop them people? So I think it is a skill, Anthony, to really be a true security person, because from what she tells me, that certainly wasn't even easy for her as just a young loss prevention specialist or whatever she called herself.
Right. And I tell you, a lot of times, when you're faced with, in front of an adversary, even, if somebody's got a knife on them, or if they got a firearm on them,
Sure.
you're pretty much stuck, because now you're at their mercy.
Yeah.
Well, what I do and the training that I put my officers through, it eliminates a lot of that fear. Now I tell everybody, don't go and try to be a superhero. Everything is assessed properly, and you
Right.
got to know when to pick your battles.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Like I was saying, I had a particular situation this week. It was a lot of young guys that were in the mall. Not to get too impersonal, but we accumulated over 100 rounds of ammunition in one day. That particular situation could have went left very quickly. I credit a lot of my military training, but all these guys were under the age of 21, and it just shows, not where we're headed as a community, but how bad it can get in that particular industry. So I can attest to that. It's very keen on training and how you deal with the situation.
Right. And, and I tell you, because I have a lot of, my guys that come to me, the first thing they ask me is, when can I get armed? How can I go about get armed? And I tell everybody this, right? I asked them this one question. And I've even talked to a lot of, my counterparts, from Las Vegas Metro, or when I was dealing with LAPD, the first question I'll ask them is, and it may sound harsh, but this is the harsh reality that we live in. Because now, mind you, we just had an active shooter here at UNLV a couple days ago who took someone's life, a few lives. So the question that I ask everybody is, are you willing to take a life?
Right.
It's a harsh question, but this is the world we live in. And and when I look at their face and they stutter, or they take that long pause, that tells me right there they're not equipped to move to that next level.
Right. Absolutely.
And when I asked a Las Vegas Metro police officer that question, he even had to pause for a minute and think about it. And I told him literally, you should not be walking around with that badge and gun.
Oh wow, my goodness!
Because I walk out the house. Yeah, see, like I tell people, I walk out the house every day expecting to take a life. Why?
Right.
Because I'm about the preservation of life.
Gotta get
I
back
don't
home.
have to know you, but if I see your life is in imminent danger, I'm going to make sure that you're going back home to your family injury free.
Right.
That's the oath and the responsibility that I took. I did 2 security details for President Clinton while he was in office when I served. And both of those details that I was selected to be a part of that detail. First question they asked me: are you willing to put your life on the line for our commander in chief? You got no hesitation out of my voice, none. And that's the way you have to be, because at the end of the day, when I'm with with that president, that man who's supposed to have the most power, the most powerful man in the world, and an incident takes place, I got to step in front of this man and take a bullet for him.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
that is definitely a huge responsibility.
right. So for me, I take this seriously. So now that when I since I've started this company, and I'm really putting forth the emphasis on training, knowing how to de-escalate situations, knowing how to assess the situation, and then as you move forward, if you have to go hands on, I tell my guys, don't ever do anything by yourself.
Right.
Understand the use of force curriculum, apply it as many times as humanly possible, go through the proper steps in order, as the scene progresses.
Right. Understood. Yeah, that.
These are the things that, and in this industry, have to be taken seriously.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, okay. So yeah, just switching gears just a little bit. I wanted to talk to Anthony Arlington, Mr. Arlington, about your podcast that you have, Diversity Straight Up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we started this podcast. We're getting into our second season now. And in fact, when I get off of this call, I have an appointment in between. I'm recording 2 sessions this afternoon. But we started that podcast as a part of our business, as one of the things we talk about is culture, and how to educate and inspire people on other walks of life from a real transparent perspective. Be very honest, I had another podcast that I was a part of for about 3 years, and it was being led by a business development organization here in my community. And I just didn't feel that it was allowing me to be me. I didn't feel like I belonged. I actually felt tokenized, if you want to be honest about it.
Was that breaking barriers or something different?
No, this was another podcast called Diversity Straight Up that I used to be a member of for about 3 years. Long story short, I decided that if to really understand and get a message out about culture and about lived experiences of other people from a real raw perspective, and allow people to really use their voice to inspire others, I couldn't be strapped with how I talk, who I talk to, what language I use online, what clothes I wear, what I look like, who I'm catering to, except just being me. So me and my partners decided that we wanted to do our own podcast, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to break barriers by having true, authentic conversations with business leaders, community leaders, high profile people that are nationally renowned, and the business owner around the corner, and have conversations about their lived experience based on certain topics, and not overscript the conversation and think too much about it, other than let's just chop it up. Pretty much like y'all's doing today. Let's not overthink this. Let's have real conversation. And so, yeah, we started that about a little over a year ago, got some good sponsors on board, and it's been fun. We've been having some real authentic conversations with folks, and digging behind the curtain on a number of topics, be they topics of today or historical topics, and allowing the voices to be heard. And hopefully that folks are being a little entertained and inspired to take what they're hearing and make a difference. We just wrapped up a 3-part series with Major League Baseball. My business owner, his father is a major figure in Major League Baseball, has been for a number of years, and owned a scouting firm. He owns the world's largest scouting firm, Perfect Game, and sold it off. But he's really connected. And one of the challenges that we see right now in Major League Baseball is a lack of black players. There was a period in the 80s where we were all over the field, and if you look today and look at baseball, you hardly see any of us, and you definitely don't see us in the front office. And so we had a 3-part series, and we talked to world champions, Brian Jordan, Dimitri Young, Reggie Sanders, Ernest Ratcliffe, Ernest Young. We talked to a ton of Major League Baseball players that have won world championships, have been in this league for 15, 20 years, and they're working with kids across the country now. And we sat down and we had some real talk with them. We did a 3-part series. We talked to about 12 of them. And they were very honest about what they have seen in their own eyes in the sport of baseball, and why we don't have a number of black players. And it is deliberate. There is a systemic issue, and they weren't
Mm-hmm.
afraid to talk about it. Maybe they wouldn't have talked about it somewhere else on another podcast, but they came on our podcast to talk about it, and we didn't pull any punches about what's happening. But also, they offered solutions and inspiration, and so that's the type of stuff we love to do on our podcast. So it's been
Love
fun.
it. Podcasting should be fun. If it's not fun, I don't think anybody should get into it.
Yeah.
For the continuity and the longevity. You spoke
Yeah.
on Digging Curtains. I know that you're a sports fanatic and a hip hop head as well. Is that correct?
I am a
Yeah.
huge hip hop fan.
Talk about the Christmas with Friends that you guys got coming up.
What's that?
Christmas with Friends, the event that you have coming up in December.
That's in Waterloo, actually. That's not my event. I'm going to that. You must have saw that on my Facebook page or something.
Yeah, I had to check it out.
Yeah.
On my journalism.
I'm going to the shout out to my business owners, fiance Mook. I see you up there, marvelous Mook. Yeah, I'm gonna check you out. But yeah, it's interesting as we talk about culture, and I love that you asked that question, because what we do in Top Rank, when we talk about culture, the first thing we talk about is a sense of belonging. When we enter organizations or we have these conversations about what it means to be black in a business or in an organization or a community, or we walk into organizations that have asked us to come and talk about diversity. It's interesting. The first thing most companies want to talk about, I remember walking into one company, a bank, to have a conversation about diversity and inclusion. And the first thing they did was pull out a spreadsheet because they wanted to talk about numbers and tell me how they weren't doing so well. And, and I said, that's good. I really come to talk about the numbers. I said, that's fine, but let's just talk about your culture. Because we're twisted in this mindset, and I was one of them. I was a believer. I was probably an advocate that diversity. We need to hire more people. You need to get more black people, more women, more people with LGBTQ community, more people with disabilities, and not thinking about what are you doing to keep people? What is your culture like? And so that became the focal point of really what we do. And part of that was self-reflection, right? I believe in self-reflection, that all of us, in any role we have in any organization or community, it first starts with us. You have to be able to look in the mirror and be honest about your convictions. And so I began to think about my career over the years and how I used to hide my tattoos at work, and I wouldn't talk about my love for Tupac when I was in the office. I might catch a few of y'all at the Christmas party and we might talk about it, but I don't want to bring up, my love for Dr. Dre or anything, because y'all got this perception that we all thugs, right? I got one of my mentors. I'll never forget. I heard him say it coming out of a bar one time. He's like, he was coming out, we were kicking it, and he said, I got a college degree and I'm a hustler. And that stuck with me. And I never really thought about applying that to my life, right? And so as I think about the work I do in diversity and inclusion and helping companies improve culture, it's about belonging, right? And who says that I got to wear a tie to work every day? And who says that I got to look like you every day to do my job? And why do black women have to worry about their hair at the office? And all these things started to just swallow me up emotionally and thinking about the work I do. And I began to realize this is what we have to talk about, this sense of belonging. Diversity in your spreadsheet and your numbers will take care of themselves if you do the right thing by humans and by people.
That's right.
So, I stopped. I'm hip hop for life. Always have been, always will be. If I wasn't doing this work, my dream was to be Tupac. I'm sure everybody wanted to have a dream in their life. That was me. I'm sitting in my music studio right now. I have my own music studio at home. I record constantly, and this is what I do. I'm an artist first. I care about my art, and business and community and family to me is all part of me. So I've learned to live with that, and it's been a beautiful thing for many, many years. So.
Love that. Can you guys tell us your relationship with BOB and how it has worked for you so far, or the potential that you see and why you feel like BOB Rewards and entities and factions like BOB Rewards is important for us as melanated people?
Well, this will be my first introduction to BOB Rewards. I know Anthony's been a part of it a lot longer than I have, but the way I see it is we have to come to a point as a people where, we really have to focus on inner growth. you know, and this is probably the best way we can go about that. Because if you look at a lot of the other cultures, you know, they recycle their own money,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's why they they continue to flourish. You know,
Yeah.
they're recycling their dollars within their communities. And you know, we as a people, we need to really put a strong emphasis on that instead of just trying to be or live in that whole crabs in a bucket syndrome. Well, well, this brother's doing better than I am, and this sister's doing better than. Let me do something to drag them down so I can get on top. You know,
Right.
that whole crabs in a bucket syndrome is contagious. It's a
Yes.
disease that, you know, that we see within the African American community, and I'm not about that. You know,
Yes.
so I see this. You know, when I got introduced to this, I saw this as a means of growth. You
Hmm.
know, and it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in. You know, if we're as an African American community are going to come together like we say we are, it starts here. You
Yes.
know, recycle those black dollars. You know, I come in and I do for you, you come, you do for me, and we grow together.
Yeah.
You know, again,
Yeah.
as I stepped into the role of a part owner of the River Kings, and when I got introduced to this, all I saw was inner growth. So the first
Yes.
thing I said to Michelle was, you know, hey, put me in touch with everybody. I want to speak with everybody. You know, I want everybody to know, hey, you got a professional black owner in professional football right here in your backyard. You
Right.
know, now
Amazing.
let's all get together and let's make this thing work. You know,
Let's
I
work.
promote you, you promote me. We promote each other.
Yeah.
You know, the more we work at growth, the bigger we will be.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I see with this whole thing. So I'm actually, you know, glad that I became part of BLB Rewards. You know, like I said, and again, I purposely said, you know, and I told my partner, hey, I'm going to donate to this program. You know, because I see a lot of growth, not just for
Hmm.
the River Kings, but just for the African American community as a whole.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
he had nothing
Wow.
to do but respect that, because
Mhm.
again, it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about us.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd have to piggyback on what Coach said. You know, I've been in the program a few years, and like I said, full transparency. When Michelle started the program, I remember she reached out to me. I'm like, oh, you know, hey, cuz, you know, got your little thing going, you know, and little program. Yeah, I'm gonna support you. And I didn't pay much attention to it, to be honest, and it continued to grow. And I realized how valuable it was. And so the last few years, I've been involved, really just staying online and staying connected. The ability to see, wow, there's black folks running an IT company, and
Mhm.
this
Yes.
guy's doing this, and the ability to see around the country what's happening. That's been really cool. So the networking is what's important, and we don't do that enough. And I want to. Can I be real for a minute here? Because I want to piggyback on what Anthony just said. That crabs in the barrel mentality is real.
Yes.
We see it in our own backyard, and we see it in many communities. But this is our challenge, and it's funny because right now, I'm literally promoting for the January MLK Now event.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we're challenged with is, where are the black businesses in Iowa? We know they're here, right? We know they're here, but we need to shine with each other, right? And it's almost like sometimes we're pulling teeth to get each other to understand that. And I sit back and I think, and you said it, Anthony. We have to recycle our dollars. That's not at the expense of excluding white folks, or because you can't survive without white folks, right? Let's just be freaking honest here in
That's the
America.
reality, right?
But we got to
Correct.
recycle. So what do the Latinos do? And every year in my community, there's a Latino fest, and hundreds of people come out to Latino fest, and all the vendors are there. And
Mm-hmm.
listen, I got Latinos in my family, and I love Latinos, by the way. My point here is that they support their people. They're
That's
out
right.
there with them vendors, them businesses, them Latino businesses. They're there, and they're buying from each other, and they're supporting each other. Not at the exclusion of white folks, because if you walk into many of these Latino restaurants, 90% of the folks sitting there buying food are white.
That's
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
But they're cycling their money, working with each other. Every year in my community, there's an Asian fest, and there's thousands of people that come to the Asian fest, me included, and support them. And I eat the food, and I listen to the culture, and I listen to them talk, and I watch all these people. And then I asked about my people. Let me say that again. And then I
Mhm.
asked
Mm-hmm.
about my people.
Right. Like
Okay,
where's
so
our
let's just
Yeah.
This is so to Anthony's point. Sometimes there's this crabs in the barrel mentality that if Anthony's doing something good, well, he ain't call me, or he ain't include me. We're not even thinking like that. How about celebrating that Anthony Bartley's a coach now in our community? How about helping him, right? So I appreciate that point, and that's real. And we have to be better about that, and that's where we need them Black Wall Streets back here, right? We need to scratch each other's back, and that is not at the exclusion of others. That is just saying we put us first, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. I love it. Coach Bartley, we have some photos pulled up of your recruiting. You're doing some recruiting for interns and you're looking for players right now. Is that true?
Investors and sponsors.
Investors, players, sponsors.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. As we actually just finished out the year, I got 40 eligible young men coming into camp come mid-February to embark on our I would say inaugural season, but the River Kings have been around Cedar Rapids for a minute. But as we came in and took over the naming rights, it's kind of like a rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I am recruiting. I am looking for sponsors, and one of the biggest things that I'm letting everybody know. Yeah, I have a foundational sheet on certain tiers on what we offer, but I'm one of those that I like to customize programs for people because everybody's financial status is a little different. So I always look to build more with what you have when you come in and be a part of this as a sponsor, or if you're looking to advertise your company. And that's the whole deal about networking. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, and again we recycle those dollars. I've done this for so long. When I put stuff like this together, people do get a very positive return on the back end.
Look at this magnificent schedule that you guys have already lined up. So if anyone is interested in advertising, look at the many places that your name and your company would be represented along with wherever the Cedar Rapids, the River Kings go. So this is an absolutely amazing opportunity for everyone who is in the BOB Rewards Club. This is what you have brought to the club is something that I've never seen within the actual Black networking opportunity. This is a very unique opportunity for the sports. I mean, it's so many. It's so many possibilities.
It's so many Black coaches trying to get in the Arena Football League. We were offered an invite to participate. It didn't work out as well, but we just know the struggle as far as with the sponsors, with everything throughout the season. So to accomplish that is a big feat, Coach. And we're going for championship number 12. Is that correct?
No, yeah, this will be number 12. This will be number 12.
For you yourself.
Yeah. Like I said, and one of the things I tell people, every team I touch, I win.
That's right.
Yeah.
I win.
Well, as BOB Reward, we may not be in your locale, but as BOB Rewards Club members, we're definitely always going to be rooting for the Cedar Rapids because, by us being in the same network, it makes us all connected. So we definitely love that. And we're going to be rooting for you and supporting, especially, let's see, when will you be this way?
Like I said, our home opener is March 16th.
We're trying to see like when you're going to be close to like Georgia or Charlotte or anything like that.
We will be in Albany on April 12th.
I went to Albany State.
There you go.
So yeah, April 12th we'll be in Albany against the River Gators.
Tear them up, Coach.
Well, I don't think these guys understand the type of coach that I am. My head coach, Darren, he's young, coming into his first year, at the coaching ranks. So I'm gonna give him his props because he was an exceptional athlete as well, and I'm basically there to mentor him on the field. Because I've been a head coach, and it's a new step for me because I'm used to being in the spotlight, but I'm gonna give the spotlight on him and let him do his thing. But needless to say, I'm gonna always be on the field in some form of capacity.
Yeah.
And
Tell
with
us
me
about some
being
of
a
the players
defensive
that we should be looking
coordinator,
out for.
what's that?
I said, tell us about some of the players that we should be looking out for.
Oh well, shoot, I got some monsters.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna
Exactly.
put it out there. I got some monsters. Enoch Smith, he was the first person we signed. He played at Oklahoma State. Won a Cotton Bowl championship. He's a very monstrous defensive tackle DN. We have Ricky Neal, played at University of Northern Iowa. He was also in a camp with the Minnesota Vikings, and he also spent time in the CFL as well. And then we have Rashard Brandon coming from the University of Missouri, who's another monster. That's just guys right there in the coming out of the Midwest. Uh,
Yes.
I got Verlon Reed coming out of Ohio State.
All right. Ohio. That's where I'm
Stop,
from.
He's he's
stop
a
it. That's the Ohio State.
The
Come,
Ohio State.
yeah, something
coming
like
from a
that.
Michigan fan.
But
Coming from a
he has
Michigan fan.
he has
Uh-oh.
arena experience as
Uh-oh.
well. So then I have coming from the West Coast, I have a monster linebacker named Lonnie Bickham, and he's a monster. Like no holds barred, pure unadulterated, just pure nastiness. You
Mm.
know,
Love it.
I got a really good roster coming into camp. As I told my coach Darren Clark, I said, "Man, it's going to be an all-out battle. This is going to be like World War III
Love
in the camp there in
it.
Love
Cedar Rapids, because everybody's going to be fighting for a spot. Everybody.
the
In
deal.
And
fact,
are
we
you
just had
have
our
some
Phoenix
players?
combine, and I just signed Prince Taylor. He
Mm.
played at LSU behind Joe Burrow, and he also came out of the Canadian League too.
Oh
Mm.
wow.
Athletic quarterback.
Yeah.
So I got some monsters.
We love it. We love it. So we're going to be rooting for you. Are any of the players or are any of the players going to be at the MLK celebration?
Yes, they
Awesome.
will be.
Love
Yes,
it.
they
Love
will
it.
be. And plus, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have players, as I told Anthony, and I'm speaking to some of the other organizations as well. I'm have a lot of these guys out there within the communities working, serving as mentors or learning how to be mentors to the youth out there. Don't matter what nationality you come from, but it's the ideal of, giving back to the community and showing them that there is other ways of, becoming successful in life,
Yes.
and this is just a stepping stone for them. So if they pass it forward to the youth, we can eliminate a lot of the the BS that we're facing. We can stop with the bullying and all these active shooter incidents. Because now you got somebody who actually cares that's working right there in your own backyard.
Yep.
Yes. Absolutely. And a lot of people, I think we take for granted representation as well. Like if there's certain images that I would have never seen that looked like me, or just there's some things that I never would have aspired to be because I never knew that someone like me could fit into that sector. So
Mhm.
I love especially the mentorship and the community advocacy.
Hmm.
That's so important.
I didn't want to
Right.
speak bad about my particular generation, but everybody's so interested in living their best life. Nobody's inspiring to be mentors and role models anymore. Like growing up, I had so many people that I looked up to, coaches, band teachers. Like nobody's aspiring to do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I went back to California a couple weeks ago, and I had dinner with my old high school coach. He's my frat. He's my mentor. He's my friend. And I tell him, every time I talk to him, I'm like, dude, thank you, because you
Mhm.
were the driving force is the reason why I am who I am today,
Yeah.
because
Right.
of what he did for me. As a mentor, and he still continues to do so. But if it wasn't for coaches like him, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And I still, like I said, he's not my only mentor. I have several of my mentors that I talk to, you know, even
Yeah.
though And like I tell people, even though I may know the answers, it's always good to hear it again
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and again, because it strengthens me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
That
when
makes
I'm ready
sense.
to pass it forward, I can pass it forward with true conviction and sincerity coming from my heart. So
Well, and I
people can
think
feel it.
mentors don't always have all the answers either, right? Like there's this assumption that being a mentor means that the mentor knows everything. Sometimes being a mentor is just being there to listen, right? Like
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's absolutely
maybe I just need a ride. This 12-year-old kid needs a ride to the store or something. There's other things going on in their lives that have nothing to do with my career. Just I need somebody, right? So sometimes
right,
being a
right,
mentor is just being available to listen. Like I have mentors. My uncle's a huge mentor of mine. Doesn't mean we talk every day, but I know I can call him in a heartbeat and ask a question because he's there. And I also know that I respect him from afar, and I respect people like that from afar, the work they do, because to your point, I see them,
right,
right? Just because I don't talk to them every day, I see them. I
right,
know
right.
that person's a professional, and that's important that they see us.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. Hell, I just talk to my mentors just to talk about life. Sometimes it just does my heart good just to hear their voice.
Yeah.
When I called my other mentor, his name is Ray Clay. He's been in the football world for more than half a century. When I didn't get him on a call, I start to worry. Like, wait, hold up. He usually pick up when I call.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Then I call him the next day, and I'm like, dude, what, man? I'm calling. What's going on? You good, man? Are you good? I know you have a bit of a health scare, but are you good? So it's just that when you're that in tune with somebody who you care about, and they genuinely care about you,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, it it goes without saying, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And coach, I do see that you played for the NFL in Europe. Can you tell us briefly the contrast between how the NFL is structured in Europe versus in the United States? 'Cause,
And Canada.
yeah, because I don't know a whole lot about
Well,
that.
when I was a part of NFL Europe, this was back in '96. It was considered the actual developmental league for the NFL.
Ah,
At that time, NFL Europe was 85% of allocated players coming from NFL teams, and because you're playing in host countries, a lot like what's going on today, you have to have those nationals apart on your roster as well. So although I wasn't allocated from an NFL team, I was one of the very small percentage that was a walk on free agent.
oh wow.
And
So is it
back then,
compared to G League with the NBA?
it was you could compare it to that or like AAA baseball. That's how
Got
NFL Europe is structured. At one point they had tried it years prior by like the early '80s when it was the World League.
Mm.
mm-hmm.
And it kind of went down because it wasn't drawing enough attention. Then they rebranded it and put it together in the European areas. So you had the UK, then you had Spain, then you had Germany, Amsterdam, places like that, and it was flourishing for a while,
Mm.
But then after a while it kind of died down. But while I was there, it was even though my time was brief, it was a remarkable experience. I still got an opportunity to play professional football over in Germany because they still have the European leagues going. They still pay. It's still quality football.
Love
But
it.
but back then that was the closest I got to the NFL.
That's closer than many people
Most.
will ever get. With our last 5 minutes, guys, can you tell everyone how they can reach out to you and get in touch with you? Of course, if not through VOB, of course, they can find you in the club listed in the directory membership. But if they want to come directly to you to network or talk to you about, whatever you have going on, how would they get in contact with you guys?
Sure. You can reach me through my email, aarrington@toprankculture.com. You can catch me on all socials. I'm under Anthony Arrington on Facebook, Anthony Arrington on LinkedIn, and on IG under A2 Recruiters, my handle. So you can catch me on all the socials, as well as our website, toprankculture.com. I would love to hear from you.
As for me, you can reach me. You can email me, Anthony at cedarrapidsriverkings.com. You can also reach me, directly if you like to call. Area code 424-200-1440. You can look up Anthony Bartley on Facebook, or Instagram is Head Coach 1682, or you can go reach us out as a team on Instagram at Go River Kings, or Facebook. You can look up Cedar Rapids River Kings.
Awesome.
All right. So as well, we spoke about mentorship. I love it when we end the show with a positive affirmation. So if you had to speak someone, a young man gearing to go in your field, like what type of advice or a positive affirmation or just encouragement would you give a young man in a younger position? Like if you had to speak to the youth or a younger youth, what would you say?
Well, I've always told people this: look yourself in the mirror every morning and ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice to get to where you want to be in life?
Right.
And when you find an answer to that question, then you move forward and you pursue, and do not let anybody step in front of you, deter you, or keep you from achieving your goals.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we have the same name for a reason. I guess we think the same, because I have. I started this call and told you I'm a big on self-reflection, and these are things that I would tell kids. And it's funny. I coined a term called "brush your teeth moments." I still need to see if I can copyright that thing. But my point is that we all have moments to ourselves in life. Whether you're brushing, I talk to myself every day in the mirror. Just what Anthony said. I literally talk to myself in the mirror. I thank God for my day and what am I going to do today? My wife thinks I'm crazy, but I do that for about 20, 30 seconds a day while I'm brushing my teeth and thinking about how I can make an impact every day. And I say all that to say that we all have our moments to ourselves. Mine is brushing my teeth. Some people think in the shower. Some people think when they're doing on the toilet, wherever you're at. And when you're driving in the car, your highway time. You can't escape. You can't escape. You can't lie to yourself about who you are personally, unless you have some sort of mental issue. And I'm not disrespecting that, but for the most part, we can't lie to ourselves. So I always tell kids, be honest with yourself, because you can pretend that you're friends at school and you can pretend that you care about ABC, but your higher power knows. You can't lie to yourself. So always talk to yourself every day. Ask yourself what you can do to be a better person every day. Through all your struggles, is there one thing each day that you could do to be a better person today, or to do something positive today, whatever it is, one day at a time is what I try to always remind kids, and especially kids, I should say. So.
Absolutely. Well, we love it. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on. This was a lot of information. I wish we had 2 hours instead of one, but everybody's busy, so we try to get as much as we can in. I've learned so much. I look forward to you taking over the state of Iowa and seeing your billboards for security teams everywhere. Coach, and we look forward to the win. Mr. Arrington, we look forward to seeing. Actually, I would love to see about being on your podcast, because we have a 2 books that we wrote about the restaurant industry that we would love to talk to you about, how, Black people with tipping and how we're not really culturally brought up to speed on that from just.
I would love that. I would love that. Count on it. Count on it. Let's talk offline and we'll get it scheduled.
I'm also curating a hip hop podcast as well. So.
Yeah, I need to connect you. I need to connect you to my guy Coffrey J. If you're not following him on LinkedIn, you should follow Coffrey J. Hip Hop for Change. He's out in Oakland, a really good friend of mine, and we'll talk offline. We'll hook up for sure. We're all BOB networkers, so we're all here.
That's right. So we'll
definitely
BOB. Try in January. I don't know how our January is looking, but we'll definitely be at one of the events, and we're going to be opening up one in Charlotte. So hopefully we can get you guys here.
Yes. Yes. Give me a reason to travel. Give me a reason to travel.
Right.
Come on down. Thank you guys so much. You have a wonderful day. You've been an absolute pleasure, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me.
See you, Coach. Take care.
Take it easy.
And that will conclude today's episode of Shop Black. You have heard from Coach Bartley and also Anthony Arrington about their wonderful businesses. If you have to go back to make sure you get their contact information, we want you to be a part of the BOB Rewards Club. And all you have to do is go to bobrewards.club. Sign up only $10 a year as a consumer or $25 a year as a business owner. You will be in the great company, as you can see. And if you go back 2 episodes to see our episode before the last and our first episode, you will get to meet our president and vice president and also some other business owners who are in the BOB Rewards Network. So you're definitely going to be in great company.
All right. That's the end of our show. Like we said, if you see it on Facebook, on your feed, make sure you share. Tell a friend, tell a family member about BOB Shop Black Podcast with Deuce Terry and the Boisters.
All right. Have a good night.